All right. So the week of free agency, the first week at the very least, is over with for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And boy, do I have a lot to go over with right here as Omar Kahn is pulling absolutely no punches, and he is in here to make the Pittsburgh Steelers better for what they really are. I was skeptical about the Steelers going into the offseason because I thought they were going to sit on their hands and do nothing because they kind of figured, oh, well, we made the playoffs. We don't got to change anything. But Omar Kahn said, not so fast. We made the playoffs and we're going to build off of that and make this team better. And I'm going to hit up on a lot of stuff. Just hold on to your hats, Steeler fans. What's going on, everybody? I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link down in the box below, as I don't know if the Steelers are done. I really don't know. I hope we're not done. I want to see more because Kevin Colbert was never this aggressive in free agency. Omar Kahn is just like a machine gun, man. Like every single day, move after move after move after move. And it has me excited about what's next. I love it. But I'm just going to go ahead and go over what the Pittsburgh Steelers have done in free agency, at least so far. And I'm going to give a little bit of recap and my opinion of it. So, starting with the very top, where last week we landed Russell Wilson for 1 year on the veteran minimum of $1.2 million, while Denver is paying $38 million. I like this move. I really do. I like the move. You get a veteran quarterback over here, and he's an immediate upgrade over what we used to have at quarterback. There is still going to be quarterback competition for the starting job. More into that later, obviously, with the news of Justin Fields. But I really like it because now it kind of seems like this. Now it seems that the Steelers moved away with them having too much faith in Kenny Pickett that Omar Kahn expressed a couple weeks ago. And, like I said, I'll get into Kenny Pickett again in a little bit. But yeah, you bring in Russell Wilson, immediate upgrade right there. And it financially does not cost us anything. That's what I love. That's what I like most about it. It costs us almost literally nothing. Because if Russell Wilson wins the job and let's just say the very worst that happens is that he just doesn't pan out and it shows that, yeah, he may have had a bad stint in Denver and it bled on over in Pittsburgh. The very least, it doesn't cost us anything, you know? And you also got to know that with the decision that we could have had with Kenny Pickett's 5th year that was going to be due in May of 2025, it was really time for us to elevate with that. And, with Russell Wilson nearly at 36 years old, he's not a long-term solution at this. But if anything, his signing could restart the process of finding another franchise quarterback, or at the very least having that bridge guy while Justin Fields develops more. Because while I may have a little bit of skepticism with Justin Fields, I feel like it's a good learning curve for Fields to elevate his game up while he learns from under a guy who's been in the league for well over a decade. And let's face it, that's something that the Steelers just have not strived at easily since Big Ben retired at the end of 2021, because this is going to be 3, possibly 4 quarterbacks since that. But Russell Wilson, I like the move. Sure, he may be at the twilight more than his prime, and he had a real bad stint in Denver, but you also got to know he was not exactly set up for success in Denver at the same time, where now he's coming on over to Pittsburgh. And, I think he can work well with Arthur Smith, but only time will tell. We don't have Matt Canada anymore. But overall, you look at it, you got to figure, hey, I'll take Russell Wilson over any version of Kenny Pickett any day of the week. But yeah, I'm definitely down with having Russell Wilson over here. Then we go ahead and sign Cameron Johnston after 3 seasons in the Houston Texans. So we get a punter right there after we released Presley Harvin, who was really disappointing with us and inconsistent. Presley Harvin, we had a lot of optimism with because he won the Ray Guy Award in college, but 43.7 yards per punt over his career, not exactly stand out right there. He didn't really strive well with us, so it was time to just move on from him. Meanwhile, Johnston did a little better with there as he had 47.3 over 6 seasons, and he actually led the league with punts in 2021. So I would say it's an upgrade, but I don't think it's something that the Steelers were desperately needing as far as their offseason needs went. But still, I mean, I'll take anything over an upgrade of what we had at punter going into this season. So I'll take it. Then my favorite move that Omar Kahn did, we get Patrick Queen from the Baltimore Ravens. We signed Patrick Queen to a 3-year, $41 million move. Love this move right here. Splash move right here. You get a young inside linebacker, 24 years old. And yeah, I know Roquan Smith. True, Roquan Smith helped him elevate his game. But you also got to know that Patrick Queen is 24 years old. He's still molding into his own player. And coming on over here is a good fit for him. Because while he did have Roquan Smith help him out, guess what? He now is joining Landon Roberts here, who's a run stuffer. He's joining Keanu Benton entering his second season, who's also a good run stuffer. And he's also going to have, and we also do have Cam Hayward, who's a good run stuffer as well. Now, I do know that two of those guys play at different positions, but they do the same thing that Landon Roberts does, which they stop the run efficiently. So that opens the door for Patrick Queen. And like I said, I mean, he stops the run effectively as well. But Patrick Queen, you get a guy that plays the middle of the defense well. So that solidifies the middle right there because we were banged up heavily towards the end of last season with Cole Holcomb's injury, with Cam Hayward missing some time, with Quan Alexander missing some time, and Landon Roberts missing some time. Devin Bush, complete bust. Miles Jack didn't work out so well over here. So you get it. Like the middle of the field for us has been very soft pretty much ever since Ryan Shazier's injury because that's what we've been looking for at inside linebacker. And I think this is a big splash move right here getting Patrick Queen because it restocks our inside linebacking core and it gives us more depth. And he's been able to avoid serious injury time. He's a complete linebacker. He excels in coverage at wide receivers and tight ends. And like I said, he's a good run stuffer himself. And like I said, you pair him up with Landon Roberts, it's going to make our run defense and our pass defense better. Just way better, in my opinion. You also got to consider that the Ravens also added Derrick Henry on the same day. So, putting him within the division with Derrick Henry, it's just going to be eye candy for Steelers and Ravens fans here who long to see that rivalry come back. And the best thing about it, again, it does not come with much of financial risk as well. This is a signing that has all the upside and little downside. I mean, yeah, there's a 3-year commitment, but he started 17 games in each of the last 3 seasons, and he played 16 in his rookie season. So like I said, he's avoided injuries, he stayed healthy, and he's a guy that's just all over the field. He's a beast. He adds speed. He's very versatile. He's physical. He's hard-hitting, and he still has a long way to go. By the time his contract is up, he's going to be 27. I'm 28 right now. So by the time his contract is up, he's going to be a little bit younger than me right now. I love this move. I really love it. I think the Steelers are a great fit for him, and I think he was just meant to be a Pittsburgh Steeler all this time. And just as a side note, I remember how much I wanted us to draft Patrick Queen back in 2020. And I was like, okay, we still have Devin Bush, but I would love Patrick Queen over here just to have that dual inside linebacker threat. But I understood why, we didn't even have a first round pick in 2020, but I was like, if Patrick Queen could somehow fall into our laps in the second round, I would love that. And I was so distraught when the Ravens took him, but he's with us now, and I love it. Patrick Queen is my favorite signing, and I can't wait to see this guy play. Then we go ahead and trade Diontae Johnson to the Carolina Panthers and get Diontae Jackson at cornerback, and he is still under contract through 2024. So, sure, Diontae Johnson may have been the longest tenured offensive player with us up until that point, and he may have been a good route runner, but you got to have the whole package when you're a receiver, in my opinion. And Diontae Johnson did not play well, to put it lightly, with that contract extension. He only had 2 touchdowns, I believe, through the entire contract extension. So I thought it was a necessary move to move on from him. And Diontae Jackson, it's another veteran move to pair him alongside with Joey Porter Jr. because we just got rid of Patrick Peterson as well. So Patrick Peterson, didn't work out, 1-year rental, and we moved on from him, and we get another veteran, and we also get younger at corner as well. So I think this is going to benefit Joey Porter Jr. very well. Does come with a cap hit with about $10 million with just 1 year left on the contract, so it really isn't cheap or a guaranteed long-term solution. And he also is coming off an Achilles injury in 2022, but Diontae Jackson rebounded very well as he played 16 out of 17 games in 2023. So the best kind of ability is availability. And with Diontae Jackson, he has availability. But Carolina was already planning to move on from him. And if the Steelers were going to give up one of the best trade assets to get him for a late round pick, then I think that we probably could have got a little bit of a better haul, or a bigger haul, I should say, if we were really looking to move on from Diontae Johnson. But I think keeping him out of the AFC is beneficial, and Diontae Jackson does fill in a position of need. And I feel like that the Steelers are still going to target more of a cornerback group in free agency or the draft, which is what I still want us to do. But yeah, I can't really hate on this as well. Diontae Jackson, I thought, was a necessary signing. Then we go ahead and re-sign Miles Kilebrew to a 2-year deal worth $6.5 million. So I like this move as well. It's a smart move to keep a guy who leads the team, who is a leader in special teams for the Steelers, and he's been a real good ace for the Steelers as well. He blocked 3 punts since signing with us in 2021, and he's, like I said, he's been a leader, and that's something that the Steelers are kind of lacking a little bit. We've lacked that leadership role, and while people won't really point to Miles Kilebrew, yeah, he's the team leader. Well, he's the special teams leader, and I think that role models and having someone step up to the reins in any kind of position is always welcoming. So it was an important piece to bring back, and I think Miles Kilebrew re-signing was a really smart move right there by Omar Kahn. So good signing right there. Then we go ahead and we ink DeShon Elliot at safety from the Miami Dolphins to a 2-year deal. And I think this is good for us because we do have Minkah Fitzpatrick, and this allows him to play more of that free safety role while you put DeShon Elliot as far as the strong safety role goes. And this is another position that we've been pretty thin at after we also released Keanu Neal. So we also did suffer through injuries as well last season, but we did find depth with Trenton Thompson and Eric Rowe. But I think adding DeShon Elliot, who's a veteran, it's going to give us experience, and it's going to give us more quality depth and flexibility with packages and disguises and the corners in the slot corners and the nickel packages. And Mike Tomlin's all about that flexibility right there with his defensive schemes. And I think DeShon Elliot is really good to keep with this secondary right here. Now, we did sign DeMonte Kazee to a similar deal about a year ago, and it's an inexpensive signing at that position. And DeShon Elliot is coming off a season where he had an interception and 82 tackles. But you get a guy who's a versatile defender. He can play snaps at free safety. Like I said, he's got strong safety as well. And I think it's going to benefit Minkah because, like I said, it's going to allow him to play that more free safety role. And it's just a low-risk signing altogether. So DeShon Elliott, I'm on board with this one as well. Then we go ahead and re-sign Montravius Adams at defensive tackle for 2 more years to stay with us. I like this move as well because I made a video about the D-line a couple weeks ago, and I said that Montravius Adams, I'd like for him to stay here because I want to see more of him on the field. And he's been a solid depth piece for us ever since he came here midway through 2021. And he did have a little bit of diminished time in 2023 because Keanu Benton was getting developed and there was the injury as well. And Benton eventually ended up as the starter for the season. But with this defensive line starting to age, more specifically with Cam Hayward, depth is valuable. And Montravius Adams is still pretty young. He's in his late 20s, which is not super young, but he's not old at the same time. He's kind of like middle-aged, kind of like that. But you know what I'm trying to say. He still has some years. He still has a lot left in him. Keanu Benton, like I said, I think probably pairing him up or keeping him in a rotational piece with Benton, who's made big strides at that nose tackle position. You really don't know what Montravius Adams is going to be used for, but versatility is one of the key components for building up a foundation. And I think keeping him here was very necessary. Not much of a significant risk here. And I really want to see more of this guy on the field. I'd love to see Keanu Benton as well. I'm very high on Keanu Benton, but you gotta have that depth as well. So Montravius Adams, I'm definitely on board with that. Then we go ahead and we sign Van Jefferson from the Los Angeles Rams, and a key connection here is that Arthur Smith is our offensive coordinator, and Van Jefferson also has experience with playing with Arthur Smith because he was in Atlanta. So when we moved on from 2 wide receivers from 2023, this is a signing that to me is all about depth. And like I said, Arthur Smith coming on over here as the offensive coordinator. Van Jefferson's going to come to Pittsburgh with just a couple years removed from winning that Super Bowl with the Rams, where he came off one of his best season easily, where he had 802 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. But which wide receiver is he going to be? Is he going to be the second, the third, the fourth? I don't know. I mean, now that we moved on from Diontae Johnson, it kind of opens up the door for us to add in more receivers, which the Steelers have also been in heavy talks with Tyler Boyd. I don't know the status of that as of this recording, but the last I checked, we still had mutual interest in him. But adding Van Jefferson is no slouch. It's a 1-year deal as a depth piece to fill. And I think it's a smart, safe move, especially with his cap hit. That's going to be much less than Allen Robinson, who we moved on from, which was $12 million prior to the release. So Allen Robinson, 1-year rental again, just to mentor some of the younger guys that we had. But you get a younger guy now in Van Jefferson, which I think is really going to help out this depth. So I'm on board with Van Jefferson right here. He's a good deep threat. And I think that it's just going to be a really interesting decision to see how the Steelers use this guy. Then, of course, Mason Rudolph on his way to the Tennessee Titans as the Titans signed him to a deal. I knew that once Russell Wilson came on over here, that officially ended Mason Rudolph's chances of staying here. I wish Mason all the best. I hope he lights it up down in Tennessee, and I hope he gets a real fair shot of showcasing his talents, because I feel like he never really had that true chance to be the starter here. The Steelers screwed him. That's just me. But I wish Mason well. I thank him for his late season surge, and I hope the best for him down in Tennessee. And then finally, Kenny Pickett traded. Well, actually, yeah, I guess I'll cover both of them. Kenny Pickett traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a top 100 draft pick. And after all of Kenny Pickett's whining and crying, refusing to dress up for the team, I say good riddance to him. If you're not going to be a team player and you're going to whine and cry and you're going to poorly misbehave yourself just because a veteran quarterback who is miles better than you at any juncture of his career, then you need to go. We don't need that kind of drama here. We had enough of that with Antonio Brown. We had enough of that with Le'Veon Bell. We don't need another one. So Kenny Pickett, bye Felicia. Go complain in Philly where you're not even going to have the smallest chance at being the day one starter over Jalen Hurts. So bye-bye, Kenny Pickett. Needed to happen. Glad he's gone. Dude's a scrub. And then we fill that immediately, almost immediately, with trading for Justin Fields, I should say, as we fleece the Chicago Bears once again, as we send on over a conditional 6th-round pick to the Chicago Bears in exchange for this. This comes with, stuff that I like and stuff that I don't like. On one hand, I like that we fleeced the Bears. I like that it doesn't really cost us anything as far as Justin Fields goes. I like that he gets to learn and elevate his game from a veteran experienced quarterback in Russell Wilson. And I like now that the depth at quarterback is filled. We definitely have upgraded our quarterback situation from last year. I mean, we had Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph before. Now we have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I think that's a good upgrade at what we had at quarterback. But like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Justin Fields. Like I said, I put out a whole video yesterday on my position of Justin Fields. I'm giving him a chance. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he was probably set up poorly in Chicago. But I feel like if he's to win the job over Russell Wilson, I think he might be able to work well with Arthur Smith. And I think that we can work well with him if he's not going to be the starter anyway, because we can use him creatively because he's a prolific runner, So, like I said, definitely the conditional 6th-round pick, if he's able, that can turn into a 4th-round pick if he is able to play in at least 50% of the games, I believe. I think that's a big W right there for the Steelers as far as value goes. But like I said, I'm just not the biggest fan of Justin Fields, but I am accepting of it if he is over here as the backup, and maybe if he does get his chance to be the starter, then he can showcase what he has, and I'll probably be eating my words. I hope he does ball out. I hope he does play well, but I'm just saying, guys, sorry, I'm just not really the biggest fan of Justin Fields. But there you go. That's your recap, at least so far, for free agency for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it just has to make you wonder what's next on the horizon. I'd love to see more. I'd love to see some more trades that Omar Kahn's going to do. I'd love to see more signings that he's going to do. And I'm very excited for the draft right now. Man, like Omar Kahn's just hitting up on all cylinders. Like everyone thought that we were going to come in with, we were going to get either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, and we got both of them. That alone tells you the impact that Omar Kahn's having with this franchise. And I think that he's done a phenomenal job so far. So yeah, I'm really excited, man. I can't wait to see more. Let me know what Jins think down in the comments about this. This is Mac checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.